いけ翼。
目の前の試合に全力を注ぎ込むんだ。
ストロングタックルだ。スネークマークでどんなやつでも封じてやる。俺のタックルは二段構えだぜ。
Hello and welcome to Tsubasa! Here's Weiss back at it again with the Catalonian banner. Let's dive right into it. First off, we have Tsubasa Ozora. Fearless New Face is a skill-type Japanese attacking midfielder that plays for Catalonia, a European club. He is in the regular gacha pool, so it is actually possible to get him right now using the SSR tickets. Tsubasa's team skill is Extreme Awakening of Japanese players, stat up 15% for all Japanese players. A strong rainbow Japanese team is no longer a dream. But wait, this means that Roberto will not be viable on this team. Interesting. The biggest issue going all Japanese is losing the flexibility to play non-Japanese players when Dreamfest Ken and Espadas turn up too often for your liking. So we do feel that it is not as good as it looks for the current meta. Now his passive pedal to the metal 15% is a big deal for him, as it is a determining factor for him being viable goal threat during full power. Tsubasa comes equipped with two S-rank skills. His main skill is S Rivaul Turn, a skill stolen from Rivaul, capped at 450 momentum. This is by far his best dribble, so it is worthwhile to invest in. His sub-skill is S Flying Drive Shot, capped at 455 momentum. It's not fantastic by Tsubasa standards, but fear not, as Tsubasa has plenty of other choices. Finally, A New Golden Duo is capped at a decent 340 momentum, and it requires Rivaul to be on the pitch. Now, his stat allocation is leaning toward being a scoring option with strong offensive stats enough to assist him in getting close to the box before unleashing a shot. Defensively, he will not be able to do much due to his lack of defensive and physical stats. His stamina pool is pretty high at 1.1k, which means that he will be able to use multiple supporting S-rank skills with ease, since most of the time you'll be using him in full power mode. Tsubasa's limit break is rather straightforward with a 25 shot speed power, 21 pass and 4 technique. Basically just to play this Tsubasa like his Super Dreamfest toughness counterpart and be focused on scoring with this build. Now, Tsubasa's parameters with our suggested limit break look amazing, especially during full power when his passive is active. His shot is at an amazing 15.8k, dribble and pass surpassing 11k. Very impressive for a player from a regular gacha pool. His skydive shot can hit 77.4k and flash Raiju shot at almost 83k. Supernatural 2-stage aerial overhead kick at 84.4k and ultimate skydive shot at 93.3k. These figures are pretty close to Super Dreamfest Tsubasa, so this Tsubasa from Catalonia has the potential to become extremely toxic. Now for his skill build, we are going all out full with an S build since he is able to support it for his high stamina pool. For those playing Tsubasa in a Japanese team, consider replacing S Flying Drive Shot with either Flash Raiju or Skydive Shot, and A New Golden Duo with S Golden Duo. Consider also giving him an S Ultimate Skydive Shot and Supernatural 2-stage aerial overhead kick to finish off the build. As for those using him in a European club, since there aren't any good Rivaul worth playing, it's probably best to remove and keep his A New Golden Duo for when a better Rivaul appears. Replace his Flying Drive Shot with a Skydive or Miracle Drive Shot, also adding S Flying Drive Pass or S Green Cut Pass, depending on your access. Now, even though his defensive stats are not quite up to standards, you can consider adding him Aurora Curtain or Swift or Wing Intercept. I'm not gonna delete this if you have skill slots to spare. However, we do recommend Supernatural 2-stage aerial overhead kick if you can consistently deliver the high balls to him. We're looking at you, Levin. We're looking at you. This Tsubasa is a must for those looking to get more scores. For example, I currently play Club Meta and the only goalkeeper that makes me suffer is Fist Bayashi, as even Kluivert has a very hard time scoring on him. In here comes Tsubasa, where Fist Bayashi's passive does not work and it gives me an advantage to score against him. Also, in Green Japanese, he is very good if you need more scoring power. Pedro Fonseca, Sticky Snake Mark, an agility-type European player from Portugal that plays for Catalonia, excels in trapping his opponent with his tackle, even if he does lose the ball. How you say? We'll find out soon enough. Now, Fonseca comes in with 3 hidden abilities: Rain Puddle Resistance, a 2% increase for Catalonia players, and a 2% handicap resistance for Catalonia players. Sorry other club players, no shield for you this time. Fonseca holds one of the 2 available pieces for the Super Solidarity 16% team skill for the European club. This opens up the possibility of playing non-European club players such as any version of Misaki into the mix, to enable the Misaki-dependent skills for Tsubasa, or even including Brian Kluivert to enable Catalonia's Kluivert's volley. Also, what is really terrifying here is that the team skill is for clubs and not limited to European clubs, which means that Roberto, Leo and Santana will all benefit from it. Now, his passive is a new one named Price of Confused Fight, which drops 10% stat when your opponent selects the next command after losing a matchup, excluding GK. Now, what that means that if you win a matchup against Fonseca, you will get a minus 10% debuff on all of your stats that goes through shields. Yes, you heard me correctly. Resistance shields do not work against this debuff. And the debuff is there until the player does a skill, either passing to another player, shooting, or any other skill. Also, if the debuffed player passes to himself for a high or low ball, the debuff will still apply. However, the action you take after that removes that debuff, so you can remove the debuff by trapping the ball, shooting, or even passing. We hope that is clear. Now, we think this is one of the most disruptive passives for defenders to date, as it really confuses the enemy that has the debuff to either risk substantial minus 10% debuff or figure out a way to remove it. So yes, even when you lose the matchup, you win by giving the debuff to the enemy. As for his main skill, he's a straightforward player who can mainly tackle with an alright 455 momentum tackle, and also comes in with an S Swift intercept. That is not the worst, but it isn't hard to develop since there are a lot of people who has that exact same intercept. So you actually don't waste that many back balls to level this intercept. Now, Fonseca's stat distribution means he is more of a tackler. He also has a chance of intercepting the ball with his S-Swift intercept, but in the end, the massive difference between his tackle and intercept means it is maybe better to stick on trying to bully with his tackle. And hey, even if you do lose the ball, the passive activates. There really isn't much we can say about his limit break. We suggest going with a 25 tackle, intercept, speed, and technique to improve all of his chances to winning the ball, and maybe even losing it. Now for his parameters, we included a 2% stat up from his passive and applied our suggested limit break. S-Snake Mike Force hits 59.9k, which means that he can bully quite often. His intercept goes up to 47k force, which is okay, not high, but still okay. Now, Weiss rambles on Fonseca. I would call this player a win-win situation. You win the ball, you get it. You lose the ball, he gets a debuff. I personally think this is one of the most strongest defensive passives and players to date, and is extremely annoying. This player is quite something, and I'm very interested to see him cause confusion on the pitch. Next comes in the Hulk, Garza Gonzalez, Charging Hulk, a toughness type European player who plays for Catalonia, applies pressure on the matched up player even after winning the ball. Gonzalez comes in with 3 hidden abilities: bumpy ground resistance, a 3% stat increase for Catalonia players, and a very useful skill block cancellation up to 2 skills. Now, Gonzalez has a very nice non-Japanese all-stat 15% team skill, which is extremely good and opens the door to building a full non-Japanese 45% soon enough. Let's hope so. His passive is also a new one named Pressure. It works like Fonseca's passive, except debuff happens on the opponent's next matchup after you win the ball off him. As for his skills, he is another straightforward player who can mainly tackle with a 455 momentum tackle, and also comes in with an S high power block, which I like to be honest, as many players have it and you can level it up rather easily because of that. Gonzalez's stat means he is primarily a tackler, and after applying his 3% buff, his tackling stats goes up to 13.6k. Also, his blocking stats ain't that bad, going up to 12.4k, which goes quite well in a main defensive line, but remember, you have to win the ball this time to apply his passive, so it's quite critical to put him in a place where he can surely take the ball. Now there isn't much we can do with this limit break. At this stage we suggest going with 25 tackle, block, speed and power to improve his chances of winning the ball. Now for his parameters, we included 3% stat up from his hidden ability and applied our suggested limit break. The S power tackles force is higher than the rest of his teammates, going up to a staggering 62.2k, while his block falls a bit short at 55.9k, which is still manageable. However, he can surely bully most players with his tackle. Weiss rambling for Gonzalez. This player is somewhat harder to play with. In case of Fonseca, you can get a good advantage even when you lose the matchup. However, in Gonzalez's case, to apply his passive you must win the ball, and this is why his parameters are higher than Fonseca's. So it's best to think twice where to put him, as he excels more in the tackling department. A side defender role is best for him. However, with way too many defenders coming in the Catalonian or even club players, some creativity is needed in creating the perfect defensive line. Gonzalez is a solid character that will definitely apply pressure to the opponent team. Marko Almay, Defense Meister, is a Brazilian defender that plays for the Catalonia and works very well too if you're looking for a Latin defender. Almay comes in with 4 hidden abilities. Let's take a look at them. Recover, reducing stun time by 80%, is quite frightening as it works well with his passive, which we will cover up in the next slide. Stat handicap resistance provides a 2% reduction for Catalonia players, and lastly, stat up 2% for Catalonia players. Almay is the other piece of the super solidarity for club players, to go with Fonseca's team skill. His passive is stamina killer 30%. It might not seem that much, but he is becoming one of the most annoying defenders to deal with when he is coupled with his recover hidden ability. As for his special skill, only his main skill S double tackle is capped at 440 momentum is worth mentioning. The rest are some of the most atrocious skills that a defender can get. We understand that SSR black balls are a lot easier to obtain nowadays, but it still hurts to consider investing in skills like S forcible intercept. Come on man. As he is a normal gacha unit, this opens up possibility for more versions of him coming later with actually better skills like a good intercept. Patience is key. Almay's stat distribution looks rather lopsided, with his tackle and speed coming up on top. It seems like he is designed to perform single defensive action at a high level, which is tackle. His block and intercept ain't that bad, but he won't be able to do much since he is a new character with limited choices of skills. Also, forcible intercept S? No, just no. There really isn't much to do and say about his limit break. We suggest going up with a 25 tackle, intercept, speed and technique to improve his chances of winning the ball. 25 speed is compulsory for defensive players with recover for maximum annoyance. Now for his parameters, we included 2% stat up from his passive and applied our suggested limit break. S double tackle, despite capping at 440 momentum, can hit a total force of 59.8k with his 13.5k tackle. So Almay has quite a high chance to bully with his tackle. S99 forcible intercept hits 39.3k. This is really low for the amount of SSR balls you need to invest. So guys, just don't do it, trust me on that. Now for his skill pool, there is no section for this character as he is fresh off the boat. not many thoughts to give out on Almay. He's one of the most annoying players currently in the game. Think about how annoying Igawa is with his 80% recover, and add to that losing that chunk of your stamina whenever he matches up with you. That is extremely annoying. Okay, general Weiss rambling on this banner. These players, these are one of the best defenders I've seen to date, not because of their stats, because of how interesting their passives are, and how well it goes in with the current meta, and how well it goes in with the whole Catalonian team, and also with the whole club team. In the inclusion of the club 16% Super Solidarity is extremely interesting. I would love to see Latin clubs joining in this team. Also, Japanese club, the J League. We know that there should be a Misugi, Misaki, and Jito and the other Japanese players playing in the Japanese league. We also have Hino playing in Argentinian, if I'm not mistaken. So all of these can actually come in, grouped in one team that we actually can call a dream team. I like this banner. A lot of new faces, a lot of new passives. Now it's not so easy to go past the defenders, but even if you do, you have to think twice, because that minus 10% is huge. Don't underestimate that minus 10%. It's a great banner. I love it so much. I'm glad that it's a gacha banner. It's not a limited one, because these are just manga characters. They are not legends, and they are not real players. So yeah, this banner is great for those playing club players, and for those who are looking for a scoring green Japanese. Tsubasa is extremely good. Alright guys, here's Weiss, over and out.